So some of what I would say is interpretation. So it's me looking at Khaled and trying to understand him. And so it's, a little bit of opinion as opposed to I can prove this was actually the case. My understanding of him, because he's hard to get into, he's hard to understand, is that he saw every battle as its own unique puzzle to solve. And when I look at that, I would be in panic mode as the commander. If I do X, what if it turns into a disaster and I'm killed? Forget if I'm killed, my men are killed. That's worse. In other words, he's doing something extremely risky. It's high risk. When you look at what he does, he changes his tactic every time. So he doesn't find the one thing that works and then keep repeating. Although I give you an example of where he does repeat, the 3 night attack events. But usually he doesn't repeat a strategy again. And to do that, in fact, he even contradicts his strategy. So like in Iraq, his goal was to keep the Persians piecemeal, but in Palestine and Syria, his goal was to get the Romans to form one army and fight them all at once. That's what happens at Yarmouk. So he's even flipping the script. He does the unpredictable, like when he crosses the desert from Syria to Iraq, the logical path would have just been to follow the Euphrates. He doesn't, he cuts through the desert. And so everything he does is unexpected. When he looks at the enemy, like at Firaz, he goes, what's their strength? Well, their strength is numbers. They outnumber me 10 to 1. He turns that into a weakness and he uses it against them. There's a battle called the Battle of the Chains. The Persians came with heavy infantry. So he's thinking, I've got light cavalry. I'm against heavy infantry. That's a tough fight. So what can I do to fix it? So what he did was he tricked the Persians into thinking he went to one town, Kazima, when he went to Hufair instead. And when the Persians discover, they start marching to Hufair, but he knows that's what they're going to do. So he runs to Kazima and then back, right? And his goal is just to keep the Persians moving so that they're exhausted by the time the fight happens. And so the Persians, they go one location, another location, they come back. He's been resting. His men go in there, and he's turned their heavy armor into a weapon against them. And to be able to do that, I think he must have had a few things going for him. For one thing, from what I can tell, he was a very humble person, and I think he listened to his advisors. He had a council of people, Dirar, Qaqa, Al-Minhal, his wife, Layla, was one of his advisors. He had a really close relationship with her, and she was right there with him the whole time they were campaigning. In fact, they have a son together, Muhajir. He's born in the campaign. I think we don't know the exact town he was born in, but it was somewhere around the time that they captured Damascus. And so here's his counsel. He listens to them. Well, a good counsel tells you the things you don't want to hear. A good counsel contradicts your position and argues against you as a commander, because the more information you have, the better the decision you'll make will be. And considering how consistently good his decisions end up being, I can't help but believe he must have had an open counsel.